Hi, I'm Tyson Lee of Mr. D Designs in San Francisco, California. Thank you to Mayesh for hosting me as the Mayesh Design Star for September and October. Today, I would like to introduce a piece that I actually love making a lot, which is a headpiece. Not your normal headpiece, but a full headpiece of flowers, almost like a head wig, actually. Full flower head wig. So as we start with this, I usually start with a mannequin head, and I am going to start with Chickenwire this time. I was racking my head and trying to figure out a way to use flowers as a headpiece and not using glue, so I can reuse the flowers, or if the person that's receiving this piece can actually take it all apart and actually put them in vases and spread them throughout the house. So I usually use chicken wire and a good amount to make the full helmet. And I actually take chicken wire and I encapsulate it with moss in the interior. And I use moss on the inside, so when you start making your headpiece arrangements, it actually creates a tension within the chicken wire. So when you put the stems through, they'll lock in with each other and they will not leave. And I've done this a few times and it's worked many times, and I really enjoy doing this. Gets a little messy, and that is all right. So after you take the moss on the inside, secure it with the ends where you've cut the chicken wire, and definitely use the chicken wire that is coated. So when you do put the stems in, you're not using regular chicken wire that will actually harm the stems as you puncture it through. So I have some wire right here that I'm actually going to sew up the chicken wire on the ends that don't have that fringe, so it does not fall apart. So take one side, twist it through, and weave it through so nothing falls out. It's just like sewing a hem of a pant. Not that hard, except that this already has holes in it, so it's an easy guideline. Each side probably need to use more than one, so you give that extra security for it. Again, twist tie one side and can keep continuing. So you have that extra security on both sides. And continue to the other side so both sides are finished and cut off. And after this, we can continue and actually start molding it to the mannequin head. So it actually shapes to the model's head. And the great thing with chicken wire, after you're done, you can actually mold it the way you want on the actual human head. It actually is very moldable, and you have that chance that if someone has a smaller head, it'll fit. Someone has a bigger head, it'll fit as well. Just one more piece, starting from one end to the other, closing both sides up. All right, I have my panel of chicken wire stuffed with moss now. And now let's start molding it to the mannequin head, actually. So I have the mannequin head. I mean, if you don't have one of these, use a mixing bowl. And after you mold it to the head and you start placing the stems through, you'll see that this piece will get weighed down. So you won't have such a rigid U shape. It'll actually mold to the head quite well. So that is the molded piece that I have right now. And from there, we can actually take flowers, which I'm gonna be using chrysanthemums as a base. And then on top of that, I'm going to be filling that up with Phalaenopsis Orchids. I wanted to keep it a very kind of a neutral base. I'm actually creating this for a bridal look and keeping it all white. I wanted this to be replacing a traditional veil a bride would wear. So instead of a bride with a veil that covers the face, I wanted a Phalaenopsis orchid wig slash hairdo slash veil. I think that'd be a lot of fun. You don't have to cut it down too short. We can start from one section, start inserting it through. And you can start creating the frontal piece that is going to frame the face. I'm gonna spin this around so I can actually get a better view of what the front looks like. I don't want flowers to be stuck right in front of her eye, so we'll start from there. I'm cutting it between 3 to 4 inches. It can go a little longer, but it gets a little bit more difficult as it gets longer. And remember, on top of this, we are going to be placing a lot of Phalaenopsis orchids on top. So this is just a base that we're going to be creating. And no, this is not a flower crown. It actually is going to be covering the whole head like a helmet. Except, don't wear this on a motorcycle. So as you place each chrysanthemum into the chicken wire, notice how the flowers are turning. So each piece is not facing fully front toward you. So every piece is not going to be very uniform. So you want to have a little bit of depth so it actually frames the face quite nicely. You do want to keep a nice curve through here to keep that open. And as you place them, I like to almost create a X pattern. So you're going back and forth. So the flowers are not completely even. And there is some depth to it, even on the top where people aren't looking. We are making a base for the Phalaenopsis, and even so, you still want to create a nice foundation to this piece. So I'm going to continue and cover the rest of the base, and then from there we can fill in the rest with all the orchids. I did choose chrysanthemums this time around just because they have a very long life. Beware of what flowers you use, especially when it's close to the body. It does heat up and it does tend to shorten the life of a flower. So as I finish up the back here, you want to leave a little bit of space. You can always just keep it as a very simple full mum helmet, but I want to introduce Phalaenopsis. And I think that'll give a really beautiful veil-like quality to this piece. I also want to keep it very simple. So as you go through here, alternate it through, you are going to be covering a lot of the chrysanthemum, but that's okay. Like I said, it's creating a base. It's not always show and tell. And as you go through your orchids, choose some really beautiful pieces that are going to be framing the face. You want those really beautiful petals to accentuate that part. So as you look through them, you're going to see some beautiful pieces like this that has a beautiful front, pieces like this that have a little emptiness through here. And the empty parts, I usually take another orchid and overlap it, so you'll create more depth through that. And then you can actually just cut down together, and it acts as a single stem. I tend to never like to waste a flower, but yes, like I said, I wanted to give a shout out to my girls at Mayesh San Francisco, Arlette and Mary Ellen. They're my team, and they pick and choose the best of the best for me. Without them, I don't know if I can be doing this. They've really supported me and they provide the best product for me. So as you see from the front, you'll see this, but I'll be creating more as I put it on her head. I'll create more of the down pieces through here as well. But let's keep continuing to finish off the rest. I really want to create this beautiful cascade of orchids that come down. That almost looks like hair or a veil. So I think we're almost ready to get it on the model. All right, so I have my model here. Thank you, Catherine, for being here today. I have already, she has already put her hair in a bun, and I just put a little bit of fabric. You can take a scarf, wrap it around just to protect her head and her hair. So let's place this piece on her and see what we've done today. It is a little bit big, and as it goes on, you'll see that we're gonna have to make adjustments here and there, and just to make sure it frames the face really beautifully. It is a heavy piece, so, you know, be aware. Yeah, so let's continue, and I'm going to add a few strands of these Phalaenopsis just to finish it off. I think we're good. This is my headpiece that I have made today. Thank you very much, and stay tuned.